Welcome back, everybody. We're diving into some fascinating research today on U.S.-India trade relations.
Yeah, it looks like a pretty thick stack of reports and data.
It is. It is. And, it's a hot topic, lots of layers to it.
Mm.
So we're going to try to unpack all this for you, help you quickly grasp the essentials.
Sounds good.
So our main source this time is this SBI research report.
Okay.
It's called Collateral Benefits. IND-US trade set to transcend new boundaries.
Catchy title.
It is. And it's dated February 17th, 2025. So it's really fresh, hot off the press.
Very recent, yeah.
And get this, it's actually quite optimistic, even with all the talk of potential U.S. tariff increases.
Oh.
Yeah, the report suggests that India might actually come out ahead in the end.
Now that's interesting.
It is, right. So what do you make of that?
Well, it's easy to get caught up in headlines about tariffs,
Right.
But this report, what it does is it reveals a much broader picture
Okay.
of this strategic partnership that's evolving between the U.S. and India.
I see. So it's not just about the trade numbers themselves.
Exactly. It's about how India is positioning itself on the global stage.
Gotcha. So like the bigger picture.
Yeah, the bigger picture, the long game.
Okay, so let's dive into some of the specifics here.
Sure.
The report suggests that even with potential tariffs, India might only see like a 3 to 3.5% decline in exports.
Okay.
I mean, that's not insignificant,
Right.
but it's not the catastrophic hit some might expect.
Yeah, I agree. That's a pretty manageable number.
Right. So how do they explain that?
Well, this is where the concept of tariff elasticity comes in.
Okay, tariff elasticity?
You've heard of that.
Maybe vaguely.
Okay, so basically it measures how sensitive buying decisions are to price changes caused by tariffs.
Okay, so like if prices go up because of tariffs, will people still buy the product?
Exactly, and the report estimates that elasticity to be negative 0.5 for India's exports.
Negative 0.5.
Okay, so what that means is for every 1% increase in tariffs, exports would theoretically decline by only 0.5%.
Interesting. So their exports aren't that sensitive to price fluctuations then.
It seems that way, yeah, which gives them a certain level of resilience.
Resilience. I like that.
But you know what really caught my eye in this report?
What's that?
The data on India's trade surplus with the U.S.
Oh, yeah, I saw that too. It's ballooned in recent years.
It has. In 2000, it was just $7 billion.
Right.
But by 2024, it had skyrocketed to $45.7 billion.
That is some serious growth. What's driving that?
Well, the report dives into this a bit,
Okay.
and it points out that a lot of those U.S. imports are actually supporting intermediate demand in India.
Intermediate demand. What does that mean?
So it's not like finished goods going straight to American consumers.
Oh, I see.
Instead, it's materials and components that are being used to fuel India's own industries.
Oh, so it's like the building blocks for their own manufacturing and production.
Exactly. And this points to a larger strategy of diversification that India's been pursuing.
Diversification. Okay.
They're not putting all their eggs in one basket, so to speak.
Right. Not relying solely on the U.S. market.
Right. They're building relationships and expanding their export markets to other countries as well.
So like hedging their bets.
Exactly. Look at their trade with the UAE, the SAARC nations, and other regions. It's a much more balanced approach.
Interesting. So even if things get rocky with U.S. tariffs, they have other options.
They do. They're not beholden to any single market, which gives them leverage.
Leverage, right. So this fair and reciprocal plan that the report mentions, how does that fit in?
Okay, so it's important to approach this neutrally.
Of course, of course.
The report itself doesn't take sides.
Right.
But it presents this plan as a potential opportunity for India to negotiate, more favorable terms
I see.
across a range of sectors.
Yeah.
Defense, energy security, technology.
Okay, so it's about using their position to get the best deal possible.
Exactly. It's all about leverage in this complex geopolitical landscape.
Makes sense. And speaking of leverage, this U.S.-India compact caught my attention.
Ah, yes. Catalyzing opportunities for military partnership. Accelerated commerce and technology.
Wow, that's a mouthful.
It is. But essentially, what it signifies is a deeper cooperation on defense.
Okay.
And even the potential for co-producing advanced weaponry right there in India.
Co-production. Wow, so we're talking about...
Javelin missiles, Stryker vehicles, that sort of thing.
That's a pretty serious commitment.
It is. And the report suggests it could streamline defense trade, increase technology transfer, and even lead to joint development of cutting-edge military tech.
So it's not just about buying and selling weapons, it's about building a whole defense ecosystem together.
Exactly. A very strategic move for both countries.
Okay, well, let's talk numbers for a second.
Sure.
This Mission 500 goal.
Yeah.
Doubling bilateral trade to $500 billion by 2030.
Ambitious.
It is ambitious. Do you think that's actually realistic?
It's a bold target, no doubt about it.
Right.
But the report seems to think it's achievable, especially if they can hammer out a bilateral trade agreement, a BTA, by fall 2025.
A BTA by fall 2025. Okay.
And it sounds like that's a real possibility.
Wow, this report really paints a picture of a relationship in overdrive.
It does. And it's not just about trade either.
Right, there's that whole energy security angle too.
Exactly.
India potentially joining the IEA, U.S. support for expanding India's strategic oil reserves.
Big implications for the global energy landscape.
Absolutely, and then there's the U.S.-India Trust Initiative.
Oh yeah, focusing on all that cutting-edge tech.
AI, semiconductors, quantum technology, it's like they're trying to push the boundaries of what's possible.
And to make that vision a reality, there's the IND-US Innovation Bridge.
IND-US Innovation Bridge, okay.
It's all about driving investments and partnerships in space, energy, and emerging technologies.
Wow, they're really covering all the bases here.
It's a comprehensive approach.
It is, but you know, there was one thing in this report that really stood out to me.
What's that?
This idea of a new international trade route from India to the U.S. going through Israel.
Oh, yes. That's a fascinating proposal.
It's a game changer.
It has the potential to be.
Imagine a modern-day Silk Road connecting India to the West through the Middle East.
It's a bold vision, that's for sure.
It is, and if this actually takes off, it could reshape regional dynamics. It could even counter China's Belt and Road Initiative.
Yeah, there are a lot of geopolitical implications to unpack there.
We've only just scratched the surface of this, haven't we?
We have. This U.S.-India relationship is full of surprises.
So much more to uncover, but we'll have to save that for next time.
Stay tuned, folks.
We just left off talking about that new trade route, you know, the one connecting India and the U.S. through Israel.
Right. Through the Middle East.
Yeah, and the report really highlights how this could be a major game changer geopolitically.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially as a counter to China's Belt and Road Initiative.
Exactly. And it's not just about India and the U.S. either, right?
No, not at all. The report mentions other countries, too.
Like?
The UAE, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, even Italy.
Wow, so it's a pretty diverse group of potential partners.
It is. And they're all looking to get in on this new trade corridor.
So we're not just talking about a single route then?
Nope. More like a whole network, interconnected partnerships emerging, with India right at the center.
It's like a modern-day Silk Road.
It really is, reshaping global trade, challenging those existing power structures.
It's fascinating stuff, but let's maybe shift gears a bit.
Okay, sure.
And explore some of the other areas of collaboration you found in the report.
Well, one that really stood out to me was the focus on critical minerals.
Critical minerals, right? Those are essential for all the tech that's shaping our future.
Exactly. Lithium for batteries, cobalt for electronics, all those rare earth elements we hear so much about.
And both India and the U.S., they recognize that securing those minerals is strategically important.
For sure. The report suggests they're committed to collaborating on research and development and also promoting investments across that whole critical mineral supply chain.
So it's not just about digging them up.
No, it's about processing, refining, manufacturing, even recycling.
The whole ecosystem.
Exactly. The goal is to build more resilient supply chains, less dependent on any single source.
And that's where this mineral security partnership comes in.
Yes, a global initiative. Both India and the U.S. are part of it.
I remember reading about that. It's about bringing together like-minded countries.
Exactly, to ensure those essential resources are available.
For all those technologies that are shaping our future.
You got it.
Okay, so we've got critical minerals. What else?
Well, the space sector is another area where the report highlights some exciting collaborations.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
The NISAR mission, for example.
NISAR, that rings a bell.
It's a joint Earth observation satellite. NASA and ISRO are developing it.
ISRO, that's India's space agency, right?
That's the one.
I read about this. It's going to systematically map changes to the Earth's surface.
It is. It'll be the first of its kind.
Imagine all of the data that will generate.
It's going to be invaluable for understanding climate change, predicting natural disasters,
and managing resources more effectively.
It's a testament to what's possible when countries work together.
Definitely. And it's not just about Earth observation either, right?
No. The report also mentioned plans to send the first Indian astronaut to the International Space Station.
Wow. That's a pretty big deal.
It is. Reflects India's growing ambitions in space, their increasing capabilities.
And beyond that, there's talk of commercial space collaboration.
Right. Satellite launches, space tourism, even advanced space manufacturing.
It sounds like the sky's the limit, literally.
Uh-huh, I like that.
But it's not all about rockets and satellites.
No, of course not.
The report also emphasized scientific research collaboration.
Absolutely. Innovation isn't just about big, flashy projects.
It's about fostering that culture of collaboration, knowledge sharing between researchers.
Right. Did you see that new partnership between the U.S. National Science Foundation and the Indian Anusanthan National Research Foundation?
Anusanthan, I love that name.
It does have a nice ring to it.
But what's the focus of this partnership?
It's all about fostering joint research in critical and emerging technologies.
Right.
Semiconductors, connected vehicles, machine learning, next-generation telecommunications.
Okay, so pretty much everything.
It's a comprehensive list tackling those pressing challenges facing the world.
It's like a global brain trust.
I like that, a global brain trust working together.
And this builds on existing collaborations, too.
Oh, yeah, between various U.S. and Indian science agencies. There's real momentum building here.
Okay, so we've got critical minerals, space exploration, scientific research, all buzzing with activity.
This partnership goes way beyond just traditional trade.
It really does, but, the report doesn't shy away from the complexities either.
True, it acknowledges that this partnership isn't always smooth sailing.
What kind of complexities are we talking about?
Well, for instance, export controls.
Okay.
Both countries want to collaborate,
Right.
but they also need to protect their own sensitive technologies.
It's a tough balance.
It is. Too much restriction could stifle innovation.
But too much openness could compromise national security.
It's a tightrope walk for sure.
What else did they mention?
Technology transfer.
Okay, yeah, I can see how that gets complicated.
Companies are eager to collaborate, share knowledge, but there are legal and bureaucratic hurdles.
Negotiating those agreements can be a real headache.
Definitely, and the report also acknowledges the need to address illegal immigration aggressively.
That's a sensitive topic for sure. Even the strongest partnerships can have their points of friction.
Absolutely. But overall, the report seems optimistic about the future.
It does. You can sense that both India and the U.S. see the strategic importance of working together.
And that's what makes this partnership so fascinating to watch. It's constantly evolving.
New opportunities, new challenges, always something happening.
Definitely keeps things interesting.
Well, you've certainly given us a lot to think about, but we're not quite done with this deep dive yet.
Not yet. Stay tuned for the final part.
Welcome back to our deep dive into U.S.-India relations. So far, we've covered a lot of ground.
We have trade, tariffs, strategic partnerships, space exploration, you name it.
Critical minerals, scientific research, the list goes on.
It does. And it seems like this relationship just has so many layers to it.
It does, but there's still more to uncover, right?
There is. The report actually highlights some aspects that might surprise you.
Okay, I'm all ears. What did you find?
Well, there's this initiative called the Indian Ocean Strategic Venture.
Indian Ocean Strategic Venture, okay.
It's a new forum, bilateral, designed to promote investments.
Investments.
Investments in U.S. economic connectivity and commerce in the Indian Ocean region.
So it's about strengthening India's role as like a security provider in the Indian Ocean?
That's a big part of it, yeah. But it's not just about security.
Yeah.
The report highlights these plans to bring together partners from the India, Middle East, Europe corridor and also the I2U2 group.
I2U2, what is that? Sounds like a secret code.
Stands for India, Israel, the United Arab Emirates, and the United States.
Okay, so a pretty powerful group.
It is relatively new, focused on economic cooperation and infrastructure in the region.
So again, we see this web of interconnected partnerships emerging.
With India right at the center.
And these partnerships are leading to some really interesting projects, right?
They are. For example, the report mentions Meta, the tech giant.
Yeah.
They're investing billions in an undersea cable project.
Undersea cable, wow.
It's going to connect 5 continents.
5 continents, that's huge.
It is. 50,000 kilometers long, longer than the circumference of the Earth.
That's mind-boggling.
It highlights the growing importance of digital connectivity and how India is becoming a key hub in this global network.
It really does. And the report also talks about building new partnerships.
Yes, in the Western Indian Ocean, the Middle East, and the Indo-Pacific.
So they're really casting a wide net.
They are. These partnerships aim to foster cooperation across various sectors.
Defense, technology, energy, critical minerals, we talk about all those.
That's like they're building this network of like-minded nations.
All committed to, what, economic prosperity and security.
Exactly, a shared vision for the future.
And this collaborative spirit extends to education as well, right?
You notice that too?
Yeah, there's a push to strengthen ties between U.S. and Indian universities.
Absolutely. More student exchanges, research collaborations, that sort of thing.
But it goes even further than that, doesn't it?
It does. The report mentions joint and dual degree programs,
Okay.
partnerships between universities, even the possibility of offshore campuses of U.S. universities in India.
Wow, that's taking things to a whole new level.
It's about fostering intellectual exchange, cross-cultural understanding, developing a global workforce.
Equipped for those 21st century challenges.
Exactly.
It sounds like this relationship is really blossoming on multiple fronts.
It is, but even amidst all this optimism, the report doesn't shy away from the complexities,
Right, there's still challenges to address.
like streamlining legal mobility for students and professionals, while simultaneously addressing concerns about illegal immigration.
It's about finding that balance, ensuring the benefits are shared widely, but also upholding the rule of law.
Exactly, and I think that brings us back to the fundamental question.
What's that?
What does all of this mean for you, the listener?
Good question. What should our listeners be pondering after this deep dive?
Well, I think it's clear that we're witnessing the emergence of a truly significant partnership between the U.S. and India.
One that has global implications.
Absolutely. It's not just about trade figures or defense deals.
It's about shared values, common interests, that commitment to shaping a better future.
For both countries and the world.
It's a dynamic relationship, constantly evolving, full of opportunities and challenges.
It'll be fascinating to see how it all unfolds.
There are so many threads to follow. It's an exciting time for sure.
It is. This is a partnership worth watching closely.
Maybe even participating in.
Exactly.
Well said. And to our listeners, we encourage you to keep exploring this relationship, keep asking questions.
Stay tuned, because this story is far from over.
The U.S.-India partnership is just getting started.
And it promises to be an exciting journey.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.